calling this getting your ducks in a row or getting your ducks in a row with SEO. And the reason why I am talking about this today is that SEO is huge and it's overwhelming. And with SEO, there's so much to SEO, but what we've actually found is that it seems that there's some basic things that you want to do. And I liken it to building a house. It's like before you actually can start building a house, you got to get the foundation. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm not actually going to be talking about SEO. I'm going to be talking about the foundation before you begin getting into SEO. So that's sort of what the focus will be for today. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And just a 2-second thing first about who we are. So my name is Jillian Whitney. I am a partner with Launch for Life. It's a company that my sister and I started together. We're expanding. We're getting a bigger team now. And essentially, we're marketing coaches and a consultation team, and we specialize in do-it-yourself SEO services. That's ideally what we do. We work with small businesses to help you grow your business. That's as much as I'm going to say about us. I'm not going to talk about long-winded stories. I'm going to just get right into it. With SEO, the goal is you want to have more website traffic. And that's the thing. We often find we come up with a great idea to do our business. We build a great website. And then it's like, if you build it, they will come. But they don't come. And it's crickets. And you're just like, what happened? It's like, I made this beautiful website. Nobody is seeing it. And SEO is really, the fundamental is it's just about getting your website in front of the right pair of eyes. You just want to be more visible and stop being invisible on the web. You want to be seen, and you want to be seen by the right people. What we're going to talk about today will help you sort of win that SEO race. So we're going to go through some of the fundamentals. I'm going to start off by telling you a little story, and the theme today is going to be duckies, just ducks all the time. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit and tell you a story. And it's probably like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. And I had little boys then. I had, I think my kids were 6 and 8. And we were going to the great rubber duck race. We had this great American duck race come to town, and it was really exciting because it was all for charity. I'm thinking it was for like Make-A-Wish or something like that. And you could buy a duck, and you were buying a virtual duck. You never actually got to see your duck, but you got a duck and you sponsored your duck, and then you could win prizes. And I don't know, there was like a car and ice cream for life and all sorts of great prizes that you could get. So of course my kids loved throwing things in water and watching it flow down the stream or the lake or wherever things would flow. So they thought this would be awesome. So we, of course, got a duck and paid for it. And I don't even remember the details, but I don't think we physically got to ever see our duck. I think we just went and watched the race. And I remember when we got there, we just kind of assumed the ducks would be like you always see ducks, just floating in a nice little row down the river. And it wasn't like that. It was like 20,000 ducks were poured into the water, and you just saw nothing but yellow, and you just went, where's my duck? Like, how could I possibly compete with 20,000 ducks? And it almost made you not want to watch the race. I know everybody else was excited, but my family and we were sitting there just kind of in overwhelm at all the ducks, not really thinking that we would just see, giant mounds in yellow of ducks floating down the river. And that's kind of the feeling I have with SEO. When I first got involved with SEO, it was just like you just looked at SEO and you went, oh my gosh, there's so much to this. There's so many moving parts. There's so much to learn. How can I, as a small business owner, ever participate in this game, in this race? It just seems like you'd need a team of 1 million people. But essentially, all you really need to do is get your ducks in a row. And if you do SEO in baby steps of one little thing at a time and not worry about the whole big race, just doing the little bite-sized pieces, you'll get where you need to go, and eventually we'll win the race. That's my analogy of the duck story. So we'll keep moving. What we're going to do today is I'm going to show you guys 5 simple steps to help you win the race to prepare you for SEO. So this is about getting your ducks in a row before you even start jumping into SEO. And I liken this to if you were moving into a house, and at which I've recently done. I've moved out of one house, moved into another house. And a big part of moving into a house, and I'm sure everybody can relate to this, is you get into your house and you have a mass of boxes, and maybe your furniture is like, you got the couch on, on the porch, and you've got, tables in the kitchen. Everything is kind of kitty-wumpus. It's all upside down. And that would not be the time to have a housewarming party. You wouldn't want people to come to your house when you're sitting in a mound of boxes with all this stuff. In essence, you wouldn't turn around and say, maybe we should be getting those invitations out. Let's go buy the food. You wouldn't do that. It wouldn't make sense, because you wouldn't want to invite people over until it's all organized. And yet I think a lot of us do this with our website, and we do this with SEO. We're so focused on that big duck race of, I want mounds and mounds of visitors to come to my website, and people will drop a lot of time, a lot of money and effort into SEO. But if you don't have it all organized, if your website's not organized, well, then you could be spending gobs of money to get traffic to your website. But in essence, what happens is they're going to come and say, you're not organized. Your house isn't unpacked yet. The boxes are still, all over the place. There's nowhere for us to sit. That's sort of what we're going to talk about today. Okay, we're going to go through 5 things. So this is the first one. The question is, does your website pass the bounce test? And everything that we're talking about today is not technical. This is like, think about the copy on your website, think about the pictures on the website, how your website's organized. So we're not talking techie stuff. Even if you don't do your own website development, if you're at least involved with designing your website, this is applying to everybody here today. The first thing is, does your website pass the bounce test? And what that means is, I can't even keep the numbers straight, but everybody says you have about 5 to 15 seconds for people to come on your website, and if they don't like what they see, they're going to bounce. They're just going to click away. Actually, this is one of the things that will really hurt you in the Google rankings, is if you happen to have a lot of bounces, Google will start to say, people aren't finding what they need here, and they'll start pushing you down in the rankings. So it's really important that people come to your website and stick around. It's important for Google. And of course, it's important for you, because what's the point of having somebody come to your website for 5 seconds and then leave? That you're not going to make any sales in 5 seconds. So this is really, really important. So whether it's 5 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, it's probably somewhere about a minute or less that you have to attract attention and get people to stay on your website. And the important thing is think about above the fold, which is sort of that first part of your website. So without even having to scroll down, you want to have people be able to answer these 3 questions. What does your business do? What's the problem that you solve? And then what's your call to action? So people need to know, how do I do business with you? Essentially, if you confuse people, you're going to lose people. So you have to make it very, very simple. So I thought this would be interesting if I could pull up a website and we could kind of look at some real time together. And so I found this one. So the first website here is Doggy Date. I thought this was a cute, cute website. Okay, so let's think about what our thing was. What do they do? Look at this, the ultimate dating app for dog lovers. Is it pretty clear what they do? How do I do business with them? They're telling me right here, enter your phone number and start sniffing around. I thought that was very,
it's
very
so cute too, from a copy viewpoint. Yeah.
Absolutely cute. And it's real obvious that what this is about. It's an app. It's an app. And what do they want me to do? Well, it's besides entering my phone number and sniffing around, it's telling me, download the app. Like these folks are making it so easy for me. And I got the iOS download and I got the Android download. And it's very important too. This is a really important thing that we're just starting to kind of like make a shift in sort of the web design world. And that up here, when people come to a website, they scan. So we look at websites a lot differently than we read, but webs are different. Websites are different. And so when people come and look at a website, they actually use what's called the Z pattern. So their eyes kind of hit here, which is why you want to have your logo. Because the first thing is people always, whenever they type in a web address, they want to make sure they're in the right place. So it's really good to have your logo in that upper left corner. And it's really nice when it actually matches your URL. Because nothing is more disconcerting when you type in doggy date and then it comes up here and it says, you know, caramel popcorn. You'd be like, right. What? Where? You're confusing me in 1 second if you don't match your URL. So that's really, really important. So you want to have that logo in the upper left corner, and then people go at a Z pattern. So they start here and then they go straight over here and then they go down like this. And so that's kind of how people see a website. It used to be in olden times, everybody would put in this sort of upper right corner, they'd put contact us. That's what we always ended with. You know, we'd have home and about and services, and then we'd have contact us. But the newest thing in the website sort of design world is people are saying, this is too valuable. This is the most valuable real estate on your website, this upper right corner. So in essence, what you want to do is skip the contact us. If that's not the primary call to action on your website, it should not be there. You want to have the primary call to action. So in this instance, their primary call to action is download our app, right? And so here's the button to go ahead and get the app. That's what you want to have in that upper right corner. So I think these guys have passed that bounce test. We've been here now for a couple of minutes, so I think they get a thumbs up. I just thought this was really nice. Love their video. Like, I just thought this was a really great example of a non-confusing website. That's passing the bounce test. That's passing the bounce test. Okay, so the next one is, are you attracting the right people? Remember the picture of the ducks. We saw, you know, thousands and thousands of ducks. Well, you don't necessarily want thousands and thousands of website visitors. You want the right website visitors. Because if people come to your website and they're not the right people, number one, you're not going to make the sale. Number two, they're going to bounce no matter what. It's that dating app. If you and I go to that and we're married, it's not for us, right? So we're going to bounce. So the thing is, you want to attract the right people. So in that instance, they wanted to attract people that like dogs, not cats. You know, that's not going to resonate for people that like cats. It's not going to resonate for, maybe it seemed to be younger people. Maybe it's millennials, that sort of thing. So maybe senior citizens, it's not for them. And the key to attracting the right people is you have to figure out who is your target market. And in marketing, I think that really is probably the number one problem that most people have before they even start their marketing, is that they really don't know who is their target market. They're just like, everyone needs my service. But the problem is that if you're trying to market to everybody, you're marketing to nobody. It's too wide a net. And we liken it to a Facebook ad. If you've ever run a Facebook ad, you know what it's like, where you go in and you create an ad and you have a target market of like, okay, I want to show this to everybody in the United States. And then all of a sudden you go, oh my God, that's going to cost me thousands of dollars. I have to narrow down the focus, or else my ad is going to be shown to so many people that I can't afford to run the ad. So you have to start narrowing the ad down. For instance, when I recently sold my house and we ran a Facebook ad, we decided, you know, my realtor and I, we sat down and said, okay, who are we going to market this to? We're going to market it to people who are families, not senior citizens, because it was a 3-story house with tons of stairs. It was a big house with lots of bedrooms. So you knew you needed a family that would have children and little children and older children to kind of account for all the bedrooms. It's not going to be a good fit for, a single woman by herself. We knew who the target market, and I actually could see who would buy my house, and that became the ideal client. And that's the important thing. We have our target market. And then when you look at who's your ideal client, then what you want to do is you want to speak to one person in all of your marketing materials. So what you want to do is you want to kind of look at all the people in your target market, and then you kind of look for the one that's waving to you in the crowd that says, pick me, pick me. And we always have this like little mascot of ours called Bob. And Bob is our ideal client, where he's just this little guy that's trying hard. He can't run with the big dogs. He wants to run with the little dogs. And he just, he wants ways that he can do it himself. He's tech savvy, but he needs that sort of extra help. And that's sort of our ideal client. So when we write our copy on our website or our emails, we're trying to write to that ideal person like Bob, who just kind of, we can write then conversationally. Because if you're writing to that one particular person, then you can identify what are their pain points, what's keeping them up in the middle of the night, what's holding them back, what are the things that they need help with. It's really important to do this. And as a matter of fact, we believe it's so important that we do have an avatar workbook, and it will actually walk you through the step of, first of all, defining who your target market is. And then once you have your target market figured out, then how to narrow that down to your ideal client, and then really kind of make a profile of who that person is. We actually even encourage you to draw a picture or find a picture on the internet so that you actually have somebody that you can, maybe it's Betty Joe, that's your ideal person. And then that way, every time when you're doing your email marketing and whatnot, you're talking to Betty Joe. So that's something that we offer. It's a PDF, it's free, and it's an editable PDF. So you don't even have to print it out. You can just click and type things online and have it all good to go. Let's go to a website and talk about attracting the right people. This website is called the Schultz Photo School. And again, nice, really simple, tagline. We help parents take better pics. And it says, join 102,000 parents who are taking priceless pics of their kids, not just snapshots. I think they have done a really good job of figuring out who their photo school is for. They're not just saying it's for everyone on the planet. They're appealing to a really small particular audience, which is parents, and probably young parents, because this is the time in your life when you have little cute kids that are cuddly and sweet, and you want to take lots and lots of photographs. So they've done a really good job of narrowing it down. They're not appealing to us. They're appealing to, our kids, if our kids had kids, that sort of thing. Right. So that's, my stepdaughter, my stepdaughter, she has kids. She is the target market. Probably moms are the ideal clients, because moms just seem to really like to take more pictures of kids. Anyways, I thought this was a really good example of narrowing down and actually saying in words and pictures who is your target market. Plus also too, they're giving you the transformation, because they're saying join the 102,000 parents who are taking priceless pics of their kids. It's showing me other people have learned. They know what they're doing because people have come out the other side. It's showing that, like, if I join this course, I will be part of that group. So I'll be part of this tribe. A lot of, they're saying a lot of stuff with very, very few words. And you'll notice that they are taking advantage of this real estate here in the upper right corner, of the free course. And again, they're doing what I said before. They're making sure, like here, they don't even have a logo. They just have the name of their company. But again, do you see how it matches their URL? Yeah. So I know I'm in the right place and I understand what you're about. So it's kind of got both things, right? It's got what we talked about before of, I'm going to get here. It's going to pass the bounce test. And I now also know who your target market is. And how awesome to start with a free course. There's like kind of nothing to lose at a website like this. That was attracting the right people. So the next thing is, do you have a blog? And a blog, every business really needs to have a blog. And you have to think about why is that so important? And the reason why a blog is important is a blog is a way for you to continually have fresh and new content. So you want to have a blog because number one, it helps your customers, but number two, as an SEO advantage, every time you publish a blog post, you're adding new content out into the interweb, and Google is going to index it. And every time Google indexes it, you have just one more door that gets open to your website. So it's really important to have a blog because it gives fresh content and kind of it stops the Google bots from forgetting you, because it's going to constantly be re-indexing your website and all that sort of thing. So it's really important to have a blog, but the important thing is that your blog needs to not be about you. And that's really difficult, where a lot of people will just get on and they don't really think about what their blogs are going to be, and they just blog about this and they blog about that, and it's almost like an online diary. That might have its place, but not on a business website. So you always have to think about each piece of your content. Is this something that would be of value to your potential customers? Because again, you don't want people to come to your blog and say, what? And bounce. So it has to be of value. And remember, bad bounce rates are going to affect you in the Google rankings. And so in essence, if you don't write a good blog, don't write a blog. Honest, it can be that dangerous, but you really do need a blog. So you just have to do it right. I would say to people, you're better to aim for quality over quantity. Some people like to blog 3-4 times a week. Some people blog every day. Oh my God, I don't even know how they would get anything done in their life. But some people blog every single day, but they're not good quality posts. And the thing is, you would be better off blogging once a month and making it the most beautiful blog post possible with lots and lots of valuable information, and try to get that blog post ranking for as top, the top of Google as possible, than having lots and lots of little blog posts that never make it beyond page 300. It's much better to go for a quality blog post that really is going to help people and get that one optimized. And quite frankly, I have to tell you, it's a lot of work doing SEO for blog posts. You got to figure out your keyword, and then you've got to get your meta descriptions, and then you got to get your photographs and your alt tags and blah, 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 blah. It's a lot of work. So you're actually better off not blogging as much, but doing a better job of your blogging. I'm going to go ahead and we'll pull up another example. And this is a website where they actually do like professional organizing for you. It's an organizing service. One thing I would have to say as a caveat is I think that they were not smart to make their website end with org. And I know why they did this, because they're calling themselves Perfectly Placed Organization and Design. I think they're thinking org as in organization, but in terms of a URL, you really want to go for a .com website. You start doing .us and .net and all these, people are not going to remember that. We instinctively, every time we hear a website, we always put .com, and then we go, oh, I'm not going to the right place, because our brains are just, we're in a .com brain, that's how we go. But an org is even worse, because org is usually reserved for nonprofit organizations, so that you have that warm fuzzy that if if I go to Make-A-Wish, it's going to be makeawish.org, because it's a charitable place. So I think these guys actually did themselves a disservice by using org. Here, these folks have a blog. They have it under tips. I would actually just have it be blog, because most people look for blog, not tips. But anyways, I thought they had a nice blog. I think their mindset was they want to make their blog helpful. And it's a very nice blog. You get in here and each one is actually addressing something that helps: making a home for the holidays, must do tasks to deep clean your house. You go through here, oh, look, a dachshund. I love dachshund.
I know.
Making it yours, turning a new home into a house into a home, declutter your desk in 5 minutes a day. These are really great examples of blog articles that are helpful, that are totally customer focused. And it's nice. She's got it set up, or whoever does this website, he, she, whatever. I'm just saying Susan Stewart is doing all the writing. So obviously she's in charge of the blog, but she's got nice pictures that invite you in, make you realize, sums it up, what it's about. And I just thought it was a really great example of some, awesome blog posts, and a great example just so that you can see how it can help. And she's got the categories here. She probably has too many categories. I wouldn't actually not recommend having this many categories, because again, it's starting to overwhelm me. I can't look through that many. I think I would kind of, tell her narrow it down to probably about 5 or 7. I think that's way too many. But and you see that she has like a little offer as well, a little resource. But I thought it was a good example of a blog. My only tip would be to actually have it say blog right up here in the top menu. And, drop down menus, they're really, that's a lot of stuff. I think it'd be better to not have all these choices, just go to the services and then let me go to all these different places once I hit your services page. But again, they're making use of that real estate in the upper right corner of schedule an appointment. I don't know why they have this little shopping cart here. I wouldn't have that here. I would stick with schedule an appointment, but good example of a blog. Okay, so the next one is social media. So social media is really important in SEO because it's a way of driving traffic to your website. Social media, we always talk about how you really don't want to live on social media because you're just renting your space. You live on your website. So you want to use social media to drive traffic to your website. And sometimes you want to take, so that's why you want people to connect with you from your website on social media, so that you can kind of, have those doors that go back and forth. So it's really important to have those follow buttons, and the follow buttons, you need to be on your homepage. People don't want to look around for stuff. They want to be able to just get in and, see your follow buttons. And it's just another way of sort of capturing those website visitors. But I'll tell you, it's really, really important to make sure that you're using social media sites that you actually use. We had a client who had, all sorts of social media accounts, and we put them on our website only to find out she'd never used them. So she had Twitter and Instagram, and, we had all these links, and we went, but you've never tweeted. You've never gone on Instagram. So it's better off to just do the ones you use. So for us, we're quite honest. We don't use Twitter. We don't use Instagram. Our kids hate that we don't use Instagram, but we just don't. We can't do everything. So we decided we'd rather just stick with Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. Those are the 3 that we use. And so those are the 3 on our website, so that if you go to our website and you see those links and you join us, you're going to see, content, you're going to see posts, and you're going to see new YouTubes, etc. What's the point of me sending you to Instagram if it's just going to be crickets? You're going to have less respect for me, because you're going to say, if you follow me on Instagram and I don't do anything, you're going to say, well, why are you even bothering? It's important. And also too, they say in SEO that it's really good to have shares and comments on your blog posts. And I have mixed feelings about that. I know that it's good for SEO, but it can also be a little nerve-wracking. Number one, the shares are probably fine. It's the blog post comments that you can run into trouble. On the one hand, if you make them moderated comments so that people can, you can edit them, then that's good because you can control them. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to moderate comments on your blog posts. And if you don't get blog post comments, you might kind of go, ooh, it makes you kind of feel like nobody's looking at your stuff. But the most important thing is I had one blog, and it was a personal website, and I had blog post comments that I had left on, and I got a message probably about 3 months ago that like it had taken a spam attack, and it was through the blog post comments. And I went in and I hadn't kind of been paying attention, and there was literally thousands and thousands of spammers that were using the blog post comments to put their websites to get links for SEO. And so my website was hit so bad, I had to delete my website. It was so infected, and there was so many spammers, and it had opened it up to all sorts of problems. My personal thing is I don't want to have shares and comments. You know, shares would probably be fine because you're just sharing a blog post to Facebook. That's fine. But personally, I don't recommend having comments, although I can see how it is good for SEO. I don't know if I personally would would do that. But anyways, let's go to this website, Flyby Photo Booth. So I thought this was a really fun website. And I've been to a wedding where they did this, where what they do is you can rent a photo booth for your event, and then people are there taking all sorts of crazy pictures and stuff. And I just thought it was, again, we see that in the upper left corner, they're matching their URL, which is good. We also see that they're making use of the upper right corner as their call to action with the hire us. Again, very simple message, Flyby Photo Booth Company, because your next event should be remembered. Like, oh my gosh, that's so simple.
Yes, it's great. Yes.
That's so simple. So if I scroll down here, what's the first thing I see? I see their social media. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, and I'm not surprised. They're young millennials. They're probably attracting a lot. But then I noticed, well, what is this one? What is this one? I had to check it out. It's called Smug Mug. It made me feel so old because it's like, you can't even keep track of social media these days. There's another new thing. So this is called Smug Mug. I don't know. You'll have to ask your daughter what this is. She'd probably know. So again, and it looks like people can come in here and they can see whatever the event was. Haley and Howard's wedding. If I click on Haley and Howard's wedding, it looks like here's all the pictures. And look at this. You could sit here and download them all. So this is probably a really great way of, you can buy the photos. It's a great way for these people to have extra sales. And I guess if you're having the event, you don't have to worry about, sending them all out. It's like you just say, go to Smug Mug and you can see all my pictures.
That's great.
So I thought that was kind of fun. That was fun. So again, a nice, simple website, and it's great that they have their social media right up front. We can do it, we can just get in there, follow them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and even check out Smug Mug. I thought that was a good example. That is social media. And then the last one is the one I always love, which is email marketing. The reason why email is so important is that when people come to your website, they are not ready to buy. We wish they were. We wish that they would just come to our website, sign up, and buy whatever we have to do. But we have to remember that it's the beginning of the buyer's journey, and they're going through a journey, and they've got to get to know, like, and trust you. Just because you do a really, really good job of the website, it might just not be the right time for them to make that purchase. And so what we have to do is we have to start a relationship with them. And email is still the best way to have that, to nurture that relationship with prospective clients. You don't want to be using Gmail. You want to be using a real email platform. We like MailChimp because it's free. It's a great way to get started, but you could be using, Constant Contacts or GetResponse or Infusionsoft. There's a ton of them out there, but MailChimp's the one we always recommend for small business owners. Thinking of Bob, our ideal client avatar. And also too, the important thing is you have to remember, nobody wants to subscribe to anything. So we have to stop. This is the newest thing in website design, is we have to stop saying to people, subscribe to my newsletter, because people don't want another newsletter. You're going to send them a newsletter anyways, but that's not the motivator for people. People don't go, oh yes, I would love another newsletter.
Right.
We don't want that. what we want is something of value. We call it a lead magnet because it's attracting people, it's attracting leads. So hence the term lead magnet. And basically you want to offer something that's valuable, something that's free. And it could be a free course. We've already saw that Schultz Photography School, they had a free course. You could be a free report. It could be a video series, so many different things. It could be an audio meditation, depending on what you offer as your service. There's so many different things that your freebie could be. And basically, people will give you their email address in order to get your free stuff. And then from there, you're going to develop that, that nurturing sequence with them where they'll get to know you, like you, and trust you, and hopefully one day will purchase your stuff. I wanted to give an example of a email marketing. Here is a woman called Val Hart. She's an animal whisperer. And she has right on the top of her website, her free offer. Is your pet trying to talk to you? Do they need healing? For the best results, read this special report before you hire a professional animal communicator, even me. That gives a lot of trust. And then send me the free report. You click here. And of course, you're then going in, you're going to give over your email address. And I actually went ahead and pulled up her report, and it was really good. It was really, really good. And she did a very interesting thing in her, when you actually sign up, she says, you can either sign up for my list or you can just get the free report. So I thought, well, that's interesting. So I just went ahead and signed up for the free report. And she had an upsell. She's like, by the way, that you're here, here's a course I offer, and you can get it today for $20 off. So she had, she had kind of like choose your adventure with her lead magnet, which was, really well done. But again, we can see that here she is. She has her URL matches her icon here in the upper left corner. She has, I would actually have the send my free report in this upper right corner, just to kind of make it consistent. But she does have her social media. She does have her free report. And so again, just a really nice example. And again, nicely done website. She's been featured on these shows. So she's starting to give me a feeling of credibility. I can kind of get to know her a little bit. So here's a really nice embedded video. And here's some more about her. And then it looks like here's all of her different stories, her, testimonials. Right. And then she's got all sorts of great blog posts at the bottom. So, this is adorable. Look at this little guy.
Oh.
So again, a very, very nicely done website, a very nicely done website. And then all the different ways to contact her, and kind of goes on and on and on. But anyways, again, this is what we want to do, because if somebody comes here, it gets them to stay on your website a little bit longer. So it stops with the bounce rate. And then if I don't have time to do anything else and I just sign up for her free report, then I'm in a relationship with Val, and I'm going to learn different things, and it's valuable. And it actually was a pretty decent lead magnet. And I really liked how she just kind of put it in this little book too. I thought that was kind of very nice. She got the little arrows, send me my free report. You don't see subscribe to my newsletter, but you're going to be subscribed to a newsletter. So you just don't even need to say that. So thought that was a great, great example. So that was email marketing. Okay. So that's pretty much it. So now I'm just going to kind of go through what our next steps are. So the next steps that I would suggest for everybody is download our free workbook and go through the workbook and narrow down who is that target market, and then narrow down even further to really figure out who is your ideal client. So that's the first next step. And then the next step after that is, once you really know who your avatar is, which is basically what we talked about today. Do you pass the bounce test? Are you attracting the right people? Do you have a business blog? Do you have social media? And do you have email marketing? And just go through that checklist and analyze your own website. You know, have somebody else analyze it for you. Get a friend, drag somebody in off the street. Here, come analyze my website. You know, you really want to be able to like just have somebody look at your website, and in 10 seconds, can you answer these questions? Because if they can't and you have to explain it, you're not doing a good job.
Right.
So that's just really, really important. And then the last thing is, when you're ready for SEO, come back and visit Launch for Life. You know, go to our website. And essentially, that's all I have.